Meg Pisani with Merritt's Global Events. I want to thank you for taking part in this quick little snippet of ECPAT and how we can all support ECPAT and why we should as an industry as a whole. Merritt's Global Events joined the code or signed the code and joined ECPAT in the cause a little over 5 years ago. And at that time, it was a little overwhelming to all of us, all of my colleagues, of how this affects all of us, and that we really did not know that much about it, which was kind of sad to say the least. So we're glad that we're a part of it with you. And I just would really love to get an update from you on how are we all showing up towards this cause? Are we moving the needle? And how has the pandemic affected everything that you and your group are working towards?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first, I want to thank you for allowing us to come here today. For those who don't know, my name is Yvonne Chen, and I am the Director of Private Sector Engagement here at ECPAT USA. And so we're thankful really to be able to do this work, and we could only do it with partners like Site and Merritt's, just really being able to partner together on this cause, because education and collaboration is really key in this. So ECPAT USA, as mentioned, is a nonprofit agency, and we are focused specifically on our mission to protect every child's human right to grow up free from the threat of sexual exploitation and trafficking. And so as a member of ECPAT International, ECPAT USA actually belongs to a network of organizations in more than 100 countries, all working together to end commercial sexual exploitation of children. So we have a few different programs which people can join us in. We have our youth education program, which talks to young people about healthy relationships, about online safety, about trafficking. You know, in the time of COVID, we've really seen technology be used so much more, including for myself. And we've really figured out ways to incorporate education for people. So we have created these online safety guides in response to COVID. And the online safety guides are for young people, for educators, and for parents. So just for people to be aware of what's happening. You mentioned before, it can be really overwhelming, and it really can be. And so our goal is to be able to provide resources so that people are able to understand and feel less overwhelmed by the topic. We have our
absolutely. I feel like our company with you have done that. I got to tell you, we utilize those resources, and I see that you have that on your, screenshot with you is your .org, where everybody can access that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're so thankful. I think it's really from organizations like yourself and like yours who really want to know more. And so we want to create materials and support that in any way that we can. And so that we've been really thankful for partnerships like that. We have our policy and advocacy, which really focuses a lot on our federal, state, and local level. And so some policies that we are currently working on is something called the Earn It Act, which would keep tech companies accountable for online sexual abuse material and online sexual exploitation of children. And so just really thinking about these avenues. And then we have our private sector engagement, which is how Merritt's has really come in to be our partner, and Site as well. We have a program called The Code. And so oftentimes, like you had mentioned, so the Tourism Child Protection Code of Conduct, everyone can really join it. It's the world's first and only voluntary set of business principles that travel and tour companies can implement to prevent sexual exploitation and trafficking of children. So it has we have awareness tools, like you mentioned, really support for the industry, travel and hospitality industry, but we're expanding to other industries, and just really thinking about how to establish policies and procedures around sexual exploitation of children, and have that against the sexual exploitation of children, training employees in the children's rights, prevention, how to report suspected cases. There's just different things that ECPAT USA can really help support in that. And so we've been really thankful for that. And we're just, we're glad for partnerships, because I do think that part of this has really, the education has really moved forward in the past 5 years and really moving the needle. I think that the industry has really been thoughtful about it. And so there's a lot of people who've been trained. So even with our free hotel e-learning that's currently on our website, It's available in 17 languages. And in 2020 alone, it's reached about 400,000 people. And so
That's
we're
great.
still wanting to really educate people. And, you know, the impact of COVID has been really rough and it's impacted everyone. But I think, unfortunately, trafficking has increased because vulnerabilities have increased. So
Right.
I think, you know, with COVID, there are researchers who have said that it's increased some circumstances. So the vulnerabilities, it's only exacerbated kind of the internet as a channel for sexual exploitation, which prompted actually the FBI to issue a warning about this potential increase in risk during COVID. There was a report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that reported a 93.3 increase in online enticement reports from January to June of 2020 versus the same time period as 2019. So it's really just, we want to be mindful and keep trafficking at the forefront of people's minds because unfortunately it still is happening and if not increasing. And so, you know, I know people often ask me, what is this about? And, you know, how big of an issue is it? And it's really important to recognize. So one UN agency estimate found 12.3 million people in forced labor, bonded labor, forced child labor, and sexual servitude at any given time. And so it really is a large issue. And, you know, one of the things that I am really passionate about talking to people is, you know, there's so much we can do in our communities and there's so much we can do in our industries. And unfortunately, trafficking does not select only certain areas to affect or people really, it can happen anywhere. And so it is just really thinking about how we can be thoughtful and watch out for things that are happening. And ECPAT USA is here to support people in that cause. So that's kind of what we've been doing and kind of the work that we've been working over the past 5 years.
That's incredible. I mean, really, even if it were just one person, it's enough. It's enough that we all worry about it and should be concerned about it. I mean, the fact that the numbers are that staggering is super sad. But I do know that some of our training that we had with the company was to utilize the call number, literally everyone had to put it on their iPhone and stuff. Because when we are at airports, when we are at hotels, we can be observers of this. And literally, I know everybody's so busy and sometimes they don't, you know, take the time to notice. But if you even have like a little gut feeling about something, it's okay to give that number a call and to provide just some insight. It's up to them from there to vet it. And I think that's key. You don't want to become your own vigilante, but I think it's a wise decision to put something like that on your phone. So just in case you see something, or just in case your stomach's saying something's not right here, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's why training has such a big piece of it. You know, people often feel nervous, and I completely get it. People feel overwhelmed. What if it is? What do I do? What can I do? Should I get involved? And so that's where we really encourage people to look at trainings. And the National Human Trafficking Hotline number is 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they have interpreters, so any language is available to call. So when people call, you can report like, hey, I think something is happening. The hotline is able to connect with their trusted partners in that. So there are ways for people to be able to take steps and at least say something. Because again, I think one of the biggest things is if we don't notice. And so I've worked with survivors for over a decade. And a lot of the things that they have really seen is really not having people aware of what's happening around them. Or they feel like people have seen something and maybe felt something was strange or off, but didn't know what to do or just didn't know how to react. And so nothing happened. And so I think that's why having something like that, there's also something called the Traffic Cam, and specifically for hotels. It's an app you can take pictures of hotels spaces, and it kind of creates this network where in case trafficking is happening, people can match up photos on their database. So that's definitely something that is also an action step that people can take specifically with apps on their phone.
Yeah, which I think is incredible. And I mean, I guess we're a little bit proud here in St. Louis. Marriage Global Events is a St. Louis-based company that one of the schools invented that app, which you're in St. Louis. So I'm like, yay, I applaud them. Good for that college student. Good for them. But we do use that app because really we're all traveling. We're all in hotel rooms all the time. I mean, COVID has kind of put a little bit of a stall on that, but we're ready to get back to traveling and we'll start to take some more pictures for our ECPAT and start to grow that database.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And again, I think that's why it's so important. Everyone really does have a role in fighting this, and everyone can contribute in some sort of way. And that's why, we really encourage partnerships and people to collaborate with us and how we can really support that. Actually, one of the ways that people can actually support us and take action is an upcoming ride called our Survivor Solidarity Ride, and it's happening on May 31st in honor of National Missing Children's Day. And so it's really to bring awareness to the reality of child trafficking that is happening in every state. And so our ride highlights locations where survivors have indicated that they were trafficked or and where there have been reports of child exploitation. And so in kind of participating in this ride, if people choose to, it really symbolizes solidarity with people in our Survivors Council. And so it celebrates their leadership in our prevention programming. So last year, we rode through New York City, and this year we are celebrating the launch of a Brentwood School District Prevention Services Program, which is riding through Suffolk County, New York. But we actually, because of the impact of COVID and the flexibility and we want to be safe as well and have everyone feel comfortable, we're actually having satellite rides. And so people can ride from their own homes, from their Peloton, in their cities and their towns. And that is still, people can sign up for that, and it's still on May 31st. So definitely feel free to go to our website, ecpatusa.org, and you'll find information about the Survivor Solidarity Ride as well, because it's an exciting event and people are able to kind of learn more about trafficking as well and support our amazing Survivors Council. And our Survivors Council really informs our work. They are, I think, about 13 to 15 people right now, all who've experienced some sort of child trafficking, and they really kind of work with us and partner with us on the work. And yeah, so it's an exciting event that people can join.
Well, that's awesome. I look forward to joining you virtually on May 31st for that ride. That sounds incredible. I really appreciate it. I just want to thank you for your time today, really, and for bringing us up to speed on what's going on with ECPAT and how we in the industry, each one of us has a part to play, and we should take it seriously, and it really does make a difference. So really, thank you for all your hard work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We couldn't do this without partners like you all, and we're really appreciative of this partnership. And I can't wait to see, once we get into the swing of things again, how we can continue to work together. So thank you, everyone.